Hey Oz!
Hey Curtis!
What movie we watching this week?
For all of us out there in movie land, we've got a perfect marriage of Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, Destiny's Child, and VH1's Behind the Music. We're coming to you with episode 39, Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
VH1 Behind the Music.
Yeah, that was really the icing on the cake, because I'm like, well, it's a focused, almost like biographical comedy, so Walk Hard works. And then I'm like, well, let's see, let's get a trio where the lead branches off on their own and the other two just kind of fade away. Like, oh, Destiny's Child works. And then I was like, oh, and then it just hit me. I'm like, wait a minute, VH1 Behind the Music. That's what this entire movie is. It's just a Behind the Music
Basically,
episode. Yeah, basically, yeah. So, welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another week of Let's Talk About Flicks, the weekly podcast where we discuss a movie. We've got a theme each month that we bring back and forth, and we're going to talk about a movie this week.
We are going to talk about a movie. What a novel concept.
Episode 39, we're talking about Andy Samberg and Lonely Island's Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping. A divisive film. Yes. A one could say vulgar film, but not like NC-17 level vulgarity.
No. Just a lot of language.
Yes, a lot of language, some visuals, and just...
Well, and some that you think you might see, but you don't.
Yeah. And comedy, although...
Yes.
Did you watch it through Plex?
I did, yes.
Okay, so I want to make sure we saw the same version.
The same version,
because I can see where there would be... I could see where there may be edited versions. The TV edit of this would be awful.
Oh, yeah, that would be terrible.
Yeah, you would lose so much steam. So, before we get rolling, I'm going to throw out a thank you to Patreon subscriber Don S. You hear his name weekly on this show, and so thank you, Don, for your monthly patronage. We give you 4 dog barks.
Yes, my Shih Tzu is cheering us out in the background now.
It's a Shih Tzu you didn't have until we watched last week's movie, Best in Show. You were inspired to go get your Shih Tzu.
Yes, yeah. I got was it John Michael Higgins and Michael McKean's Shih Tzu from that movie.
Yep.
Although that movie was made 22 years ago, so I have a feeling that Shih Tzu...
It's an old dog.
Yeah.
It's an old wooden boat.
Yeah. San Diego.
And so, this week we're talking Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping, which we talked pre-show, and I agree 100%. If you're a Lonely Island fan, this movie's probably right in your wheelhouse. But if you're just a little bit of a Lonely Island fan, then this movie probably feels like it never stopped, never stopping.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
But yeah, it does feel like a very long Lonely Island skit. But very divisive. I could definitely see comedy fans split on whether this is good or not. And I'm sure we'll get to some of that in the Outside Insights as well as our own reviews. Before we get into the plot, though, share with us the customers, the cast. Who are the cast of this movie?
Yeah, as far as a character breakdown, again, it's Oz's movie, so he's got the lead on the plot and such. So I will give you the characters. I have 6 of the characters here that I chose to include. And obviously, of those 6, we have the 3 leads. We have Connor, aka Kid Connor, aka Connor for Real. Played by Andy Samberg. He was in The Style Boys, and then broke off from The Style Boys to do his own solo work. And he was, I guess, kind of, while in The Style Boys, he was the lead singer, was kind of his niche in the group.
He was the Beyonce or Justin Timberlake of The Style Boys.
Yes. Then we also have Kid Brain, a.k.a. Lawrence Dunn.
Love their names. I do love their names.
Yeah. Played by Akiva Schaffer, another real-life member of the Lonely Island. All 3 leads are members of the Lonely Island comedy troupe.
He was co-director as well.
Yes. He was in the Style Boys. Is his niche with them was the songwriter, and he's now a farmer. He now lives in a farm, and that's what he does.
And an amateur woodworker.
Yeah, very, very amateur.
Very amateur woodworker.
Very amateur. Then finally we have Kid Contact, aka Owen Bouchard. He was in the Style Boys and is now Connor's set DJ. So he still works with Connor, although his role is diminished to the point that he has a huge DJ setup, but the only tool that he really needs is an iPod.
60 gig.
Yeah.
It's got the old spin wheel.
Yeah, it does. Played by Jorma Taccone. Is that how you say his last name? Taccone,
I think so.
Taccone?
Yeah, Jorma, if you're listening, sorry that we butchered your last name.
And again, Andy Samberg, Akiva, Schaffer, and Jorma Taccone are all members of the Lonely Island comedy troupe. They go all the way back to middle school, Oz.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They've been around a long time.
They're all
very talented.
Yes, they are. The other three characters that I have in the character breakdown here are we have Harry. It's played by the one and only Tim Meadows. He's Connor's manager, and he was also the manager of the Style Boys.
Yeah.
Additionally, we have Paula, who's Connor's publicist, played by Sarah Silverman. And then I also chose to include Connor's opening act on his tour.
I had a feeling that was your sixth.
Yes. Hunter the Hungry, played by comedian and SNL performer Chris Redd. Yeah. So those are the characters that I chose that are the most relevant of there, with obviously the big three being Kid Connor, Kid Brain, and Kid Contact.
And like a lot of these, a lot of similarities to Walk Hard in that. A lot of cameos from real life musicians to help kind of place this in the world.
Yes. I'll run through some of the cameos that I have here. I just kind of took down a list of cameos as I saw them. Questlove, Carrie Underwood, Nas, Usher, 50 Cent, Ringo Starr, Simon Cowell, Kanye, Mariah Carey, Adam Levine, DJ Khaled, A$AP Rocky, Danger Mouse, The RZA, T.I., Pharrell, and Arcade Fire.
Yeah.
So
and Adam
I'm probably missing a couple. Did
you get Adam Levine's hologram?
I did. I just shouted out Adam Levine, not Adam Levine's hologram. So those are, I think, most of the cameos. Although I'm sure I'm missing a couple. They also had some file footage that they would splice in as well of like people at award shows. I did not. I forgot Seal. Altogether. And he actually probably has the most prominent role of all of them.
Probably,
with the possible exception of Mariah Carey. He actually has a speaking role that has some dialogue in the movie. Including how he got his scar.
those two cameos are great.
Yeah. All right, so Oz, we got the characters, we got some cameos there. What is the plot of Popstar?
Right. I'm gonna start with just the quick and dirty, like what am I looking for? Like the Cliff Notes version of the plot. The plot is very simple. Style Boys. Yeah,
it's mockumentary, so you don't need an intricate plot.
The Style Boys are a group that breaks up when the lead singer goes off on his own, and I'll get to more detail. Once that solo career sort of fizzles, everyone around them wants to pressure them into getting back together. So, like many musical acts through history, they put their differences aside, reform, and are now back on top of the world. But not only that, they're now friends again. Yes. So that really is the plot of the film.
Incredibly predictable, by the way.
Extremely predictable, and it's a very thin thread, but that they just pack as much visual and auditory comedy around as possible. Mm-hmm. And so a little more detail here, just because these movies are fictional, placed in a reality type setting of common pop world. Connor is from a very young age. Excuse me, got a dry throat here. Very young age. He's a musical prodigy. He's like wailing away on the drums at age 1, whatever.
Wearing a diaper, toddler Connor's just doing this epic drum solo.
Yeah. And so he and his friends, Lawrence and Owen, they form a rap group called the Style Boys. And they just like instantly hit fame. Mm-hmm. A lot of inspiration for today's artists. They just, everybody is blown away by the Style Boys. Like, everybody is influenced by the Style Boys. Everybody loves the Style Boys. They're just on top of the world. I would say you could probably, in this fictional pop world, you would put them on a level of like a Madonna or a Michael Jackson. Like, just, everybody is inspired, and they're an Elvis. They're, I would say they're larger than like an NSYNC or a Backstreet Boys. They're larger than a New Kids on the Block, because like
everybody loves them, and even other musicians love them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is even musically, like every other like style of music has musicians influenced and inspired by the Style Boys. You've got rappers, you've got pop stars, you've got Ringo Starr. That they're just they're all
you got
just wow.
Arcade Fire, indie rockers.
Exactly. Yeah, so everybody is inspired by the Style Boys. But things really get stressful because Connor is like you said earlier, he's the vocal piece, but Lawrence is the main songwriter, and Owen he's your beat man. He's your mm-hmm. He puts the music together. So of the three, you would say Connor might have the least talent of keeping the Style Boys together. And because of that, he also is least aware of what has helped them get their fame.
Well, he's the dumbest of the three, if you just want to be blunt about it.
Yeah.
Connor's not very bright.
No. So, Lawrence, they win a Poppy. A Poppy is their Grammy in this universe. They win a Poppy for the single "Turn Up the Beef," but in his recognition speech, Connor goes up there and he just doesn't give anyone else credit. And Lawrence, after failing to receive credit, just quits the band.
And the Poppy Award wasn't just, it was like guest spot on a song.
It's guest verse.
He had one verse. I forget the name of the performer, but it was another cameo by Emma Stone playing some other pop star.
Right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot Emma Stone, our little cameo in here. And so the Style Boys have broken up. So Connor takes his solo act, and of course Connor's birth name was Connor Friel. So then he takes on the stage name Connor For Real, and he keeps Owen around as his DJ. And you know what? And he's huge. Like, you could argue mm-hmm. that the Style Boys are on top of the world, but it's almost like when a space shuttle takes off and like the fuel pods start to break off, and that allows the shuttle to continue. And so
so Kid Connor and Kid Brain are the fuel pods falling off.
Well, yeah, exactly. And so, taking off, Connor's, his solo career really blossomed. And this was the Destiny's Child reference, because Destiny's Child they were huge. Let's not dismiss just how impactful Destiny's Child music was in its era. But once they disbanded, like, Beyonce just took off. Like, it was, mm-hmm. You could, now she has reunited with them a couple of times, but you could argue that Destiny's Child was holding Beyonce back in some regards.
Yep.
And so that's kind of how Connor has approached this, of like, well, I don't need Lawrence, So Lawrence, he goes and he begins farming in Colorado. He tried to go solo. I love his song going solo, where it's things in my Jeep, where he's trying to sing the song and he's just rattling off random things, and then they're all just things that are in his Jeep, and it doesn't connect because they're talking to all these other musicians, and they're like, but I have different things in my Jeep. So it's
not the song quality. They just couldn't connect because of, I don't have that.
I don't have those things in my Jeep. So Connor's debut album named Thriller also rockets to the top of the charts. He becomes more and more famous, and he releases his sophomore album Conquest, which gets just trashed because he doesn't have his lyricist. Like he can't write, and Lawrence has been that integral part of the Style Boys, and without him, like he's just cratering. So everybody hates this. There was a fun little part where, go ahead.
Yeah, the reviews.
Yeah,
it reminded me of the scene in Spinal Tap where they're reading the reviews.
It's Connor.
Why couldn't God have rested on the day Spinal Tap made this album?
Right. And so, Connor's having this very vulnerable moment where he says to the camera, a lot of fourth wall breaks because it's a mockumentary. He's talking to the camera and he's just like, I normally don't read reviews, but I want to see how we're doing. And it's just, a Pitchfork, Rolling Stone, like everybody is trashing it. The only positive review he finds is from The Onion. But of course he doesn't understand that The Onion is satirical.
It's satire, yeah. Pitchfork gave it a -4 out of a +10.
Well, and it's painted because like Connor had this idea that I'm gonna get hundreds of different producers to help me out instead of relying on Owen, because Thriller also worked because it was Connor and Owen. So even though Lawrence was gone, there was still the music behind Connor's vocals. But he kind of squeezed Owen out a little bit. Owen's not officially gone, but he squeezed out his contribution on Conquest album and replaced him with hundreds of different producers. So naturally the sound was not uniform throughout, and it was low.
It's like a different version of Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys and Pet Sounds.
Exactly. And so, with sales low, he's going to go on tour, and Harry, his manager, pitches, "Hey, why don't we have home appliance manufacturer Aquaspin sponsor the tour?" And what they do in exchange, Maya Rudolph's got a great cameo here where she plays like the Aquaspin's CEO or whatever. And what they're going to do, U2 got in some hot water for this several years ago of like Connor for Real's music is automatically going to play through all of Aquaspin's
home appliances.
Home appliances. Every time you open your refrigerator, a Connor for Real song is going to play. Every time you open your dishwasher or your dryer or whatever. And of course, naturally, people are livid because everybody has their musical taste, and they shouldn't be forced upon them. I do remember back when Apple Music got in trouble with YouTube.
They forced downloaded. Was it a YouTube? Was it an album or a song? But
it was. I think it was an album. But it was. It did not go over
to people's devices.
And so there's a national power outage when these appliances are playing all of these songs. So naturally, Connor's getting even more and more backlash. Things are just falling apart. So he starts his shows. So they don't go well. The songs are awful. Just terrible song. Not even like they don't even really stick with you. Like to sit here. The only song I could think of that he sang was the one about Bin Laden. It's terrible. Like the song. Well, and I mean they're supposed to be terrible. But they are terrible. And so Harry suggests, hey, let's get an opening act. We need an opening act. This up and coming rapper. He's huge. Basically, he's like Connor for Real, only doing it legitimately. Hunter the Hungry. We're gonna hire him to be our new opening act. And ticket sales start to go up, but they're not going up because of Connor's contribution. They're going up because of Hunter the Hungry.
Because of Hunter,
yeah. So Connor feels, we're going to add some new gimmicks. He gets this like Daft Punk / like
the Black Knight, from Monty Python and the Holy Grail,
Thank
this
you.
gigantic
helmet. I was going to go with Galactus, but it's he's got this like robotic
towering helmet.
He's got this robotic mask for Owen that really only does two things. It has this like awful like low decibel like just rumble. The poop sound. Was it like the brown note? But at the same time, it's got like the like the Lexar casino like spotlight.
Yeah, like a giant sky beam that every like action movie has.
Yeah, it's like, outside, like it would like blind airplane pilots and whatever. So, those are the only two things that it does. And of course it's very heavy. He also, Connor's in this relationship with actress Ashley Wednesday. So he starts publicizing their relationship. He comes up
trying to pull attention off of these other things. Yeah.
Right. He does this really, really, like, I found it funny, but it was dumb. He has this idea of like, hey, let's see how many times I can change costume on stage. So what we'll do is we'll raise a curtain in front of me and then lower it like 3 seconds later, and I'll be in a new outfit.
Yeah, like a magician's act kind of thing.
Yeah. But the thing is, it works on women, but it doesn't work on men because they've got different reproductive parts down there.
They keep getting caught on the curtain.
So the only way this is going to work is if Connor tucks himself. and so, in one of these costume changes, the curtain drops and Connor is naked.
Yeah. Somehow he didn't change into the other outfit.
Right. While tucked. He's still tucked. And so everybody there, cameras, etc., they're all seeing, and he's just like stream of consciousness talking. Yeah. Connor is exposed naked. Of course, he's tucked mid-concert, and now he's just the subject of mockery. Like, nothing on this tour is going well for Connor. So we have a fun cutaway here to a TMZ knockoff. Oh, I love the TMZ knockoff called Will Arnett.
CMZ, yeah.
CMZ. if you've ever seen TMZ, you're aware their setup. I've honestly only ever like flipped through. I've never stopped to watch it. But it's like everybody's in cubicles, but they're all centered up for like a staff meeting.
Yeah, it looks like coffee talk, sort of like a staff meeting, or like before the workday starts, chat kind of thing.
Right. But naturally, there's multiple cameras set up at just the right angles. So I mean, all of this is staged. But it does on TMZ. It does look as if they are just like, what are we going to talk about today? Like your pre-morning warm up. Will Arnett is the host,
the Harvey. I forget his last name.
I don't even know. He's the manager of the group or whatever. And but it's such a send up of TMZ. Like they nail just all the like excessive laughing just because you want your laugh at all your boss's jokes no matter how terrible they are. And so
some other fun cameos there too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like Will Arnett,
Eric Andre, Chelsea Peretti, and God, there's another comedian. I always get his name, Mike Birbiglia. Mike Birbiglia. Chelsea Peretti, I'd read like separately somewhere that she and Andy Samberg were like, they went to like grade school together. Like these two, like Andy and Chelsea have been like best friends for like ever. Like they're really tight. There was like seriously, like families would vacation together, and it's like those kind of stories are cool. When you hear like BJ Novak and John Krasinski like played Little League together, and it's like it's just so cool. And you're like, of all the places in the country, like I didn't go do anything successful with anybody. It's just when you hear these spin-offs, like Jonah Hill and Adam Levine have been like best friends forever. Like they went to grade school together. Stuff like that. And it's like, that's just really cool to be like, it's cool when one person makes it from a community. It's even cooler. Well, it's kind of like how you...
Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, like you and I have known each other since we were 18, and like our celebrity status has elevated since then, and we're still friends.
Oh yeah. I mean, we had exactly. I mean, we had 4 podcast hits in the first couple of hours of yesterday when I posted the Best in Show. So I mean, you've got nowhere to go but up.
We've established the floor.
Right. We know Pitchfork's not giving us a -4.
We're going to be in the positives there.
We have fans, so at least your sister listens. We know that.
And
so
and I haven't even bribed her.
I know. Anyway, like Connor's tour is just, it's awful. It's going terrible. Even like I said, the gimmicks aren't working. His agent or his publicist, sorry, Paula. Yeah, she's got one more trick. Let's try this other publicity stuff.
Yeah, they're trying to run interference to like pull attention away from the Tuck moment.
Right.
And everything else that's going wrong on the tour.
Which is everything. So why don't we do this? Connor, I think it's time that you propose to Ashley. And we'll do this on live TV. We'll have it. It'll be an event. Like we'll have an event. Like LeBron's The Decision. Connor's
a good comparison. Yeah.
Connor's going to propose to Ashley, and nothing can go wrong here. So they get there, and we've got like rows of trees. We've got Seal and a band singing. We got Paul Scheer as the lead handler of like a pack of wild wolves.
Yeah.
And so Ashley doesn't know why she's there. And Connor proposes. Seal is singing a song. Turns out that Seal's singing, it really like gets the wolves all riled up.
Spooks the wolves.
Spooks them. And they, at one point Connor even yells, can we get those wolves to settle down? And Paul Scheer just goes, no. Just, no, we can't.
No.
So the wolves break loose. They start like mauling cameramen. And Connor and Ashley are running back to the limo. They're just mauling everybody. Seal like fights them off. He comes to the window. Connor rolls. Seal, get in here. And Seal's like, I have experience with this.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Right before he gets, that's where his scar came from.
It's from fighting off wolves.
Right before he's attacked, so you think Seal's dead. And it's like, again, this publicity stunt just failed every which way it could. Kind of a fun, interesting tidbit that Seal's conversation, you probably read it in the trivia too, of how he's dealt with this before. Seal's scar actually came from a bout of lupus when he was younger, which of course... lupus is
lupine
related.
Yeah,
lupine is wolf related. So I don't know if that was like a Seal in joke of I've dealt with wolf related things before, but either way, it was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah,
and so this just this fails. The Connor backlash grows. Ashley breaks up with him. She actually starts dating Seal.
Yep.
Seal, stumbled over words here. Seal sues Connor for all those injuries. Like, it just can't get any worse.
Well, and in the meantime, Connor and Owen are slowly drifting apart as well.
Right. Yeah, it's gotten to the point that even at concerts, like, Owen's just sitting on the floor, like, playing on his iPod. Like, there's on his phone or whatever. Like, there's no need. Connor is completely trapped in his ego bubble and is completely unaware of everything that's going on around him. And so Owen's got a plan, though. Everybody, at this point, we see a lot of people referencing the Style Boys. They love the Style Boys. What are the Style Boys going to get back together? All this stuff. Well, Owen's got a plan that if I can just get Connor and Lawrence together to apologize to each other, we could put all this behind us and we could go...
Things will work out.
Because we're all friends. Like, this will be fine. And so Owen sets up a meeting. Was this meeting was in the limo, right?
Yeah, this was... He parent trapped him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he got the idea on tour when he was watching this really old movie called Parent Trap with this two redheads. But yeah, he's going to parent trap him. And he doesn't think anybody's going to see through his plan. As soon as he starts talking to Connor's like, "Are you parent?" Or Lawrence is like, "You're parent trapping us." And I don't know why. It's just those like ultra specific jokes I find funny. The reference to Parent Trap. There's references later where Connor's in makeup. And just the conversations there. You look like Matthew Modine got stung by a bee. Like, just those conversations, I just find, like, because unlike last week where we know the whole movie was ad-libbed, like this movie didn't have that ad lib. You could tell this was probably scripted, and so you could see these three sitting down in the writers' room, coming up with these jokes, and I envision that kind of stuff. There was several years ago, there was a documentary about South Park and how they turned out the episodes in a week. And it was just this really cool, and it was kind of shot from the hip. I didn't realize that, I knew I was going to draw a blank.
Trey Parker, Matt Stone.
No, I know. Yeah, those guys, yeah. He plays Stefan on SNL.
Bill Hader.
Thank you. Hader I had in my head. I kept wanting to say John Hader, and I'm like, no, that's in Napoleon Dynamite.
That's Napoleon Dynamite, yeah.
Bill Hader. But I didn't realize that he was part of the writing room for South Park until I saw this. And so, but some of my favorite parts of that little documentary are when they're all sitting in the writer's room just spitting ideas back and forth to each other, because they're just funny. Like, everybody is just trying to find the funny, and they're not trying to overstep one another. They're just trying to work together. Yeah. And so that's when they were making some of these jokes in this movie. That's what I envisioned, was these guys sitting in a writer's room just trying to come up with the most like obscure yet funny material they could. And it just cracks me up when they do that. So Owen's got this meeting set up. It doesn't work out. They're in the back of a limo after a concert. It was kind of surprising, though, because as poor as this tour is going, like, Connor was still getting a lot of fans around the limo. Yeah,
still a lot of people there, and a lot of body parts attached to fans.
Yeah, a lot of genitalia. They all want Connor to sign it. This is my husband. Yeah. In his dangling participle.
Can you sign that? Make it out too.
I know, and it cracked me up because he did. Like, he just like Andy Samberg was so in on the role. Like, it's one thing for John C. Reilly and Walkhart to sit there on the phone when there's a guy in his junk standing right there. But it's like, Andy Samberg took it one step further and actually like
took out a Sharpie and
finger tipped it, and he'll do anything for his fans.
Will you sign my husband's?
Yeah. And so, Connor refuses to apologize to Lawrence. Lawrence wants nothing to do with it, because that's all he's there for, is an apology. And so, despite his poor reputation, The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon agrees to book him on an episode. And so Fallon, out of nowhere, invites Connor to perform the Style Boys hit song "Donkey Roll." and
it has its own dance too. The donkey roll is also a dance.
Yes. And so Connor is very reluctant. I can't do it, man. My boys aren't here. And so Fallon's like, I'll be one of them. And we need Owen. Well, the doors open up, and out comes Owen, and like he's so happy. He's so giddy and happy.
He's got his Style Boy shirt on.
He's got a Style Boy sweater on, and so Connor really does not want to do this. Yeah. But
he goes through with it.
Yeah, because and I'll give Jimmy Fallon credit. Like, he has in his Tonight Show career, he's done a lot of stuff like this, getting people to do things that they don't necessarily want to do, but don't hurt them. Unlike Ellen, who like puts people in terrible situations just to get a pop. Fallon, it just seems, he seems fairly genuine. I was really indifferent when he took over, especially took over for Leno, who forced Conan out.
Yeah, anything's an upgrade over Leno.
But like, Fallon's really made it his own, and he's been fun with it. So I was worried that as he got older, like, just that level of fun wouldn't be fun for him anymore. But so far, so good. And so they go along with the donkey roll, and it's huge, like a huge pop from the crowd. Like, everybody is loving it.
Everybody loves it. Fans, people backstage, people on stage,
right. Everybody but Connor. Back on tour, Hunter is very quickly overshadowing Connor, selling more records than he is, and he's really gotten into this habit of dragging out his act, like his opening act. Like, you got a half hour to play, and You know, and he's just telling the crowd, I'm never leaving this stage. I'm going to be here forever. Like, and Connor's just getting very upset. So Connor just confronts him, goes out on stage, confronts him. It doesn't go well at all. So the animosity is building between Hunter and Connor because they were really like playing it up as being best friends. Yeah. And, they get into a fight. Hunter, he admits to Connor that he's the one that orchestrated the wardrobe malfunction, the tuck, the tuck game. He's the one behind that. So, Connor tells Harry, Hunter's done. He's done. He's done on this tour. He's gone. To which Harry reveals, I can't do that because I'm his manager.
Yeah.
So Harry gets fired.
Yeah, Connor fires him right
done.
there.
So Connor has really hit like peak, like ego jerk level. Anyone close to him, he's shoving away because Connor's the only one that matters. And so it just, Conquest is knocked off the charts. Aquaspin pulls their sponsorship.
Yep. Downward spiral.
The rest of the tour is canceled.
Connor's punched out by Martin Sheen.
Right. Exactly. And Owen leaves. Connor he wants to figure out who his true friends are. So he agrees. He decides, I'm going to make a batch of pancakes, but I'm going to mix dog feces into the pancakes to see who's honest about it. So he's got a couple of lackeys there. Oh, these and you can tell by the look on their faces, these pancakes are awful.
Oh, yeah.
These are great. These are great pancakes. And we get over to Owen, and he's just like, these are terrible. And Connor's like, thank you. I was testing my loyalty. I put dog poop in these pancakes, to which Owen just flips.
Yeah.
Owen
there's other ways to test for people's trust than to feed them dog poop.
But Connor's such an idiot that he's like, I know who my real friends are. And Owen's like, I'm done. I'm done with you. Like, you fed me dog poop pancakes. I'm done. And so the only person Connor's got left is his real best friend, his pet turtle, Maximus. Maximus dies as he's like vomiting all over the place. Yeah. All I can think of is whatever the puppet in Team America.
Team America, yeah, just starts puking everywhere.
When he's cone spraying everywhere.
It's kind of like the SNL bits where like someone vomits and there's clearly like a hose in their sleeve.
Oh yeah, a lot of times you can even see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, this turtle is just vomiting everywhere. Connor sinks into depression, moves back in with his mom, starts drinking heavily. Like, it's just rock bottom has shown up. The only thing Connor's doing for money is he's drawing horses.
And
selling them online. He gets so excited, he sells one for like $11.50, and he's like, he's pumped. But yeah, he's just hit rock bottom. His mom is Joan Cusack, who has her own aspiring career that she's thrown aside for Connor. And so, it's just things. They couldn't go any worse for Connor. This is the kind of coincidentally. Because it comes up in a reference here. This is the Jason Segel getting broken up with and forgetting Sarah Marshall. Where my life is over. Like, there's nothing that could possibly go well. Or the Kristen Wiig basement in, not literal basement, but figurative basement in Bridesmaids of like, my life is done. Like,
this is it.
What do I have to live for? Paula shows up. And forces him to leave the house to go to a club. There's a musician we need to go out to a club. So Connor refuses to go until he's in costume.
Because he's a celebrity, he doesn't want to be recognized.
I don't want to be recognized. He puts on this costume, which she makes a reference I called earlier, that you look like Matthew Modine got stung by a bee. Which as soon as she said it, I'm like, yeah, I can see that.
They're not wrong.
Right, and the performer is Owen. Owen's up there spinning and mixing and just killing it. The beats are awesome. Connor kind of rediscovers, like, wow, those are some sick beats. Owen tries to sing, and he's terrible.
Yeah, it doesn't go over well.
Yeah, and so we start to build back what we saw coming from the very beginning, that these are three separate pieces of a puzzle that don't work individually. Lawrence tried to do a solo career with lyrics, but no voice. and no beat. And Owen, he can spin, but he's got no lyrics, or he can't sing, and his lyrics are crap.
Yep.
Connor can sing, but he has no background music and no lyrics. It's like they all need each other. Owen, like I said, his music and production are strong. Singing's awful. Connor and Owen reconcile here, and this is where Connor's finally turned over that page. He's hit rock bottom. He's like, we got to make amends with Lawrence. Well, earlier in the movie, we got a few little asides of Lawrence. He's just got bad luck. He's an amateur woodworker. He tried to make a poppy, and it's awful. He gets crapped on by birds that are flying overhead.
Well, he doesn't really enjoy being a farmer, but he feels
he hates being a farmer.
This is what he has to do.
Right. We actually never see him growing anything yet. It's always just like pushing dirt around. And so Connor and Owen, they show up on Lawrence's farm. Connor, he takes the poppy sculpture and replaces it with a real poppy. And that's, real. And he apologizes. Connor apologizes. Finally. It was a little begrudgingly, but he finally got to the point where he's like, yeah, you did all this. He was trying to think I was in the studio too. Nope, I was late that day.
Yeah, that goes on for several minutes.
Right, and and it was it never quite. It was funny, and then it wasn't funny, and it never quite worked its way back to being funny again. Unlike Steve Martin in The Jerk and the "I Don't Need You" scene, where it's it got back to funny again. And so Connor finally recognizes Lawrence's contribution to the music. Owen is, of course, on board. Connor and Owen discover that Lawrence hates farming, despite being apparently a very successful marijuana farmer.
Yes, quite a large crop.
He's got a very large music studio
in the middle of the barn.
In the middle of a barn. And so the three get very high. They collaborate. They're just back to being the Style Boys. They're back to being friends. Mm-hmm. There's no career in their way. They're just back to being themselves. And then Paula calls. Apparently Taylor Swift has been arrested for murder. And so he's got a 6-minute closing act at the Poppies offered to him. And he decided, and the Style Boys are like, you got to do it. Yeah. Lawrence and Owen are like, you got to do it. Hey, we're good. Don't put us. We got to do this. This is you. This is you.
And Connor's, at this point, Connor's like, well, we're back together, though, right?
Yeah.
So they collectively decide that they're basically Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
Because once you're in Wu-Tang Clan, you're always in Wu-Tang Clan, but you can also do solo stuff.
Right. And this one was one that was funny and dipped and then came back to being funny. Is it just kept referencing all of the solo acts of the Wu-Tang Clan, but yet we're all still members of the Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah. And so we get to the Poppies. Hunter's arc comes full circle as he's presenting on stage with Mariah Carey, and they start arguing. And so that doesn't go well because Mariah basically chases him off the stage. Harry quits as Hunter's manager because Hunter just kind of unleashes on him. So Harry's like, I'm done. It's kind of a fun little scene where Hunter's got his documentary crew and Connor's got his documentary crew, and there's a third one in there that I don't remember who it belongs to, but they all get confused on which camera they turn to talk, and oh no, I'm with Connor, and it was just kind of a little fun. So Connor and Harry reconcile, and then that's when Connor finds out that his 6-minute slot of 2 songs has been cut to a 3-minute slot of 1 song. So is he going to go on as Connor?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they were going to go on as Donkey Roll. Yeah, he was going to do 1 Connor song and 1 Style Boys song, but now he has to decide: are you going to do Connor for real, or are you going to do Style Boys? And so then we just cut to the music starts. It's the Style Boys' new song, "Incredible Thoughts,"
featuring
Michael Bolton. And it looks like a Connor for real song, but then the others show up, so it does end up being a Style Boys reunion. Everyone goes nuts. The film ends with Connor reflecting on his lessons and the values, etc., etc. Maintaining your relationships that keep you grounded after your superstardom. He has a new turtle he calls Maximus 2. and before a wolf comes and attacks.
Yeah, and then cut to credits.
And that's 2016, 2016's Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping. I can definitely see this having like a cult following.
Yes.
It did not do well in the. It's a quick movie. It's only 87 minutes. Like the runtime is very, very crisp. Apatow was behind this as well. But it was. I found it fun. It definitely doesn't hit the pantheon of the other mockumentaries we've covered on the show. Not just this month, but Spinal Tap and Walk Hard and others. But I personally found it fun. I know you're a little different to that. So.
I mean, it had its moments, but I felt like the film was very uneven. And it's, as we talked pre-show, it was like a 3-minute Lonely Island sketch stretched out over 87 minutes.
Right.
So I can't say I didn't laugh. I did laugh several times throughout the film, but it was so uneven, and you mentioned before, like, the vision of the three of them sitting down in a writer's room, and I could see them having fun with that, but I felt like it was almost just too scattered. It's like, and then here we can have this cameo, and then here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Yeah, there's not a lot of polish to this movie.
Yeah,
it's shot well. It's edited well. Like, it looks like a studio produced film because it is.
It tells the narrative that's really obvious from the beginning, but yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of dips. Anchorman did this same story much better.
Yeah.
Of fly too high, and then you got to get your team back together.
Yep.
But like I said, it's fun. It's, I've seen worse. But I've obviously seen better. So, but let's get it.
All right, folks. At this point in the show, Oz and I each share our own unique rating of the film in question. In this case, Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping. Oz, how would you rate this flick?
I'd give this like 6.5 poppies.
6.5 poppies.
I found it better than average. But again, it's not going to find my rotation of like go-tos that I'm constantly going to laugh at. Like it is fun. It's one you revisit this every year or two, and long enough time between them that you kind of forget about some of the throwaway jokes, and you're like, oh yeah, Seal got attacked by those wolves, that was funny. Or Mariah Carey, it's just those little things. Yeah. But no, I'd give it 6.5.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna rate this as 56 loose, non-domesticated wolves.
Right. Wild wolves.
Yes, 56 wild wolves is my rating for this. All right, next up on the agenda is Outside Insight, where Oz and I each bring in a non-professional review that we have found somewhere on the interwebs, and we will share with you, the listener. Oz, where is your Outside Insight coming from this week?
Mine is coming from Letterboxd. It is a half-star review by Ultimer. That dates back to November 5th of 2020. I don't really think Ultimer hates this movie to give it a half star, but it got him in trouble. And I'm going to use first letters for the swear words in this.
Okay.
And so his review goes, it's very short. He goes, got caught singing the verse, F me like we F'd Bin Laden, under my breath in a math test, and almost got sent out of the classroom. Thanks, a-hole. So as a teacher, I'm like, that's funny.
So is he mad at himself for getting caught? Is he mad at the teacher for catching him, or is he mad at the filmmakers for teaching him the song?
Based on the half-star review, I would say he's mad at the Lonely Island.
So he's blaming the movie for his discipline.
He's blaming the movie for writing, at least to him, a song catchy enough to sing under his breath in a math test.
Stupid movie. You got me busted.
Almost got me sent out of the classroom. Like, I would have loved to see that teacher-student argument of like, what did you say? Oh, it's from a movie.
Yeah, what kind of movie is this, young man?
Right. Because I think had I been the math teacher, I would have been like, don't sing that out loud. Like,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
just hum the melody.
Yeah, they style boys.
Dude,
I would have told him.
Sing Donkey Roll next time.
I would have told him. I'd have said, you either go to the principal's office or you got to do the donkey roll right here in front of everybody.
As you pull a style boy shirt out from your desk to give to him and put this on.
I would have joined him. Had I had a student cool enough to reference this movie and then like jump on board with the style boys donkey roll. I would have been like, you don't have to finish your test, kid. You got an A.
Just do the donkey roll and we're good.
Yeah, you're doing all right. So, but that's my outside insight. How about you? What'd you find?
Mine comes from IMDb. Skipping some things here. The contributor is Oscar Albert 12. Oscar Albert 12 writes.
I love how you find numbered reviewers.
Yeah. There's 11 other Oscar Alberts. So.
Exactly. It's probably his 11 other accounts. Yeah. Just forgot the passwords.
I'm not sure if this person is tongue-in-cheek or not. I'll let you be the judge on this one.
All right.
Since the advent of auto-tune, your Uncle Fred and Aunt Ethel could be the equal of any pop star selling out stadiums as long as they are limber enough to simulate obscene body positions. The definition of pop music always has been anything that will make someone older than yourself cringe. Pop music is not fully accessible to pop drinkers or to people exercising their better judgment. As Brian Wilson had it, burp sounds are better expressed than the essence of pop. Popstar serves as a reminder not to take any music written since Bach seriously. 8 out of 10.
Oh man, I don't know. Like, this is a very intellectual cheek if there's a tongue in it.
Yes.
Yes. You know, it's like
either this person is being too clever or not clever enough.
Exactly. Like, it was so convoluted in its explanation that you're like, you didn't like this movie. And then to give it an 8, like, I don't know. I'm with you. I don't know. Either way, like,
we'll have to check one of Oscar Albert's other 11 accounts.
It's true. It's like, I get Oscar Albert, calm down, buddy. It's like, if you're gonna sit,
take a breath.
If you're that high of an intellectual that you're gonna sit down and watch Popstar Never Stop Never Stopping through an intellectual lens, and then realize that, but I did like the movie. Like pick up.
Something tells me that Oscar Albert puts doilies underneath his glasses.
I'm sure he does. Doilies that are made from the finest silk.
Yes. And now, folks, it's the time you've been waiting for. The segment we call 3-2-1, in which Oz and I each share 3 goods, 2 bads, and 1 ha about the film in question. In this case, Popstar. Never stop, never stoppin'. So, Oz, what are your 3 goods from this movie?
My first good, I really enjoy the amount of musicians that were willing to take shots at themselves for comedy's sake. Because they were little parts, and so they were probably just directed to, hey, just be yourself, you know, but pretend, because they weren't, like, Questlove was, even the lighting, it was all, like I said, just very, like introspective,
contemplative.
Yes, it's like for all
like
of them.
They're really thinking about Style Boys and Connor for real.
But at the same time they're acting like themselves, and so that's actually hard to do. For a lot of people, when there's a camera in your face, it's hard to just be yourself, especially when you're being fictional. And so we want you to say these made up things, but we want you to say them as if you really believe them. And so to see some of these people like Seal and Mariah Carey, lean into the diva that she is, and just it was fun to just see them kind of poke fun at themselves and just take
lower the
shots
guard.
at themselves. Yeah. Adam Levine agreed to do like the hologram. That kind of, it's fun. It was like, good for you guys. So that's my first good, is just watching these musicians take shots at themselves. Because as performers, I'm sure some of them, well, like Mariah Carey, have massive egos that they were willing to just jump on board with. Because, like, with these guys, like, it's not like Spielberg or Clint Eastwood or Ron Howard are directing this movie. It's 2/3 of the Style Boys. And so, for them to just be, to like, virtually everybody that they interviewed as a musician is more successful than the people that made the movie, and for them to be on board with it. So there had to be some like behind the scene mutual respect of like, we love what you guys are doing and we'll be on board. My second good is there at the end when Paula takes Connor to Owen's show and Andy Samberg's in disguise, and they just like, you know, he just looks like a nerd, and especially when Owen comes off and he goes, "You look like Jason Segel," and then Connor just goes, "Sarah Marshall," like just I don't know why, just that kind of stuff. It always has like. To go full circle, one of the hardest times I've ever laughed in a theater was when my wife and I went and saw Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and there was the montage of Jason Segel at home in his sweatpants, and they ended that montage with him slamming down a walking stick, yelling, "You shall not pass," like he was Gandalf. And oh my gosh, I lost it. I was crying so hard because it's just such a like pop culturally specific reference that it just cracks me up when they do that. And so there were a few of those in here, but that was one in particular.
Sure.
And then my third good is really just Andy Samberg in general. I think he's just a very charming, very innocent, like even his portrayal of Connor of being just an absolute jag. Is still just, he's just, I mean, when he sells that horse drawing for $11.50, the look he gives to the camera is like he's genuinely happy.
Yeah,
like
I just made $11.50.
Right, like I did it. Somebody still wants my stuff.
Yeah.
Like and just like throughout the whole movie, like pretty much his whole portrayal was like that. He was completely aloof of how big of a doofus he was, but part of that was charming because it's like, yes, he lost his friends in the process before earning them back, but he really just. I don't know. It's just a charming performance.
Well,
I just
like,
enjoyed it.
He made the Connor character more dumb and ignorant than like mean. And granted, he had moments. But, but overall, he's just kind of this dumb, lovable character.
Well, and a successful, dumb, lovable character. So he's surrounded by yes men.
Yeah.
And he's not smart enough to realize until later that he needs to hear a no.
Yeah, because and it took him having to feed dog poop to his followers.
You think back to when like Roger Clemens was on, when he was like sitting in front of the committee, and like, you know, like, and he just, when they were asking him questions, you just get the feel like Roger Clemens, it's been so long since someone around him has told him the right thing to do instead of just agree with him, that like he sit there and he just looks like a buffoon in front of that investigative committee because he just didn't have what you know, and he just wasn't surrounded by his yes men. You know, there's other certain recent politicians that kind of feel the same way of like, if I'm not surrounded by people to just agree with me all the time, then I don't know how to function.
Well, or you're actively against me.
Yeah, you're against me if you're not telling me yes. And so Connor fell into that vein, and I'm glad he found his way out of it. So those are my three.
Sure. The way you describe Andy Samberg in this, it kind of got me thinking about like the old Colbert Report on Comedy Central when you know, when Stephen Colbert was on there, like, you know, and he's playing this sort of ultra conservative character, you know, ultra conservative, you know, like not a news anchor, but you know, like an opinion kind of piece, and and despite the fact that he's playing this fictionalized version of himself, he can never completely turn off his Stephen Colbert charm. And
exactly. Yeah, he was never going to go Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Like there was always, you're right. There's always Colbert behind it.
Yeah. And it allowed, I think, the viewer to connect with the character and the show and to just kind of get it even more when there's these ever so subtle sort of winks at the audience that like, yes, I'm in on this.
Well, it's almost like that review you read where we weren't sure if the guy was tongue in cheek or not, like, you know, because it was text, you know, but it's like you never, you know, and I've made references before about, you know, how much I like movies like Bring It On, where you can please both sides of the spectrum. And Colbert Report was like that too. Like, you know, that there were very likely some very conservative people that watched the show that were completely on board with the message he was putting across because it was what they wanted to hear. But at the same time, you or I could watch it knowing that like the real message is underneath what he's saying, and so he's talking to us more specifically. But yeah, I'm with you. So I thought Samberg did a really good job at his performance of keeping it grounded in idiocy as opposed to just egotistical meanie. So what are your 3 goods?
My 3 goods. I'm going to start with Tim Meadows. I can't get enough Tim Meadows.
No, I don't think anyone can.
It's such a small role in the movie, playing the manager of Connor for Real and the Style Boys. But just, the little interactions that he has with the characters and how he chews out Hunter near the end. And as well as, I don't think
I was a Tony.
This came up before. Yeah, this hasn't come up yet in the show today, but he was once he was an original member of Tony Tone. There was 4 Tonys, and his was spelled Tonee, and it had a question mark at the end.
Yeah,
Tony.
Tony.
Yeah, and this grudge that he had against Tony, and during the big final performance, he's playing saxophone, and he's kind of rubbing it in Tony's face.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and you almost get the vibe that you almost get the feel that that was Tim Meadows' contribution to the script.
My second good is just simply the tuck scene. I thought that the stage performances and the songs were very uneven. I thought they really some worked, some really didn't. This was one bit that I thought did work, and how it did play into the narrative as well. So it wasn't just this kind of throwaway bit. It played into this really started the downward spiral, the downturn. Because all the bad publicity he got, and the bad social media and the bad press.
Yeah, unlike Spinal Tap, where they would constantly cut to a song, but that song didn't move the narrative. This definitely was, and really this was the only part that when they did cut away to a performance piece, it actually did push the narrative forward.
And it was funny how they did and how everybody responded to it. And Samberg he's I don't know what to say. I don't know if I should do this or if I should. His inner monologue is becoming vocalized.
I can't expose myself to you, but I don't want to stay tucked.
And my last good is just we did mention this a little bit before, the CMZ bits. With Will Arnett and Eric Andre and Chelsea Peretti.
Just get to the point where we're all just laughing.
Yeah, and it's forced, almost angry laughter. This is what we do here, is we laugh at each other, even if it's completely forced.
We're miserable, but we're doing it anyway.
So those are my goods, Oz. What are your 2 bads?
First one it's a little more personal. There was a part of college where you and I and another friend of ours were very close, and we did a lot of things together. And then there was something that kept distracting me from who my real friends were, and demanded a lot of my time and pulled me away to the point where I almost lost you two. And you two were actually communicating behind the scenes of almost borderline intervention of this is our friend, and this person's taking him away from us. So that was one bad for me. It had nothing to do with the movie, but it just, the theme of this movie of staying true to your friends and not getting pulled away by some new distraction. It really hit home, especially the second time I watched it. First time I didn't know what I was watching. So, watching it the second time, I was this really reminded me, I had my Owen and Lawrence in college, and I almost lost him too. And so that was the first bad, was is this supposed to be an over-the-top, goofy, stupid comedy? And there was a part where I was I know how you feel, Connor.
I get Connor for real. I am Connor for real.
I had to have my own home movie moment where I watched my friends open up, which leads into my second bad, actually, where Connor's at home watching home videos, and he thought all along that his mom gave him Maximus. And then we're watching this home video where we see Owen and Lawrence were actually the ones that gave him Maximus. And my second bad is, how could Connor forget that his friends gave him that turtle? Like, the home video footage, he looks right at them, and they're like, oh, you guys are my best friend. Like, how did you forget that? Like, you've had your friends, and you've had this turtle. Like, there's a constant reminder of where the turtle came from, because these guys are your best friends. And so for him to watch this video and remember, oh, that's where the turtle came from. That was my
pretty
second
convenient.
bad. Like, yeah, like, how'd you forget that? Like, that's silly. So those are my two bads. One movie related, one theme related.
My bads, I'm looking at my notes here. I'm going to combine 3 bullet points into one. Just, the movie is so uneven. It's just, some things work, some things don't. I think it's one of those, it was kind of funnier in concept than it was in execution. I felt at times like I was watching a Family Guy episode where it's just too many like non sequiturs, and it just, as we kind of mentioned before, it just kind of felt like a long Lonely Island sketch, just stretched out too long. Again, it works in bits and in moments, and that's what makes, I think, the Lonely Island work with their videos and some of their other things. Like, you're in and out in 3-4 minutes. It's quick, it's tight, and this movie just drug in some parts. My other bad is just quite simply more Joan Cusack.
Oh, yeah.
Please,
she's
more
a treasure.
Yeah, more Joan Cusack. I could have put through Tim Meadows in there as well, but, like, she was on screen for probably a total of 30 seconds or so in the movie.
Yeah, right.
And I get the movie's not about her, it's about Connor and the others, but, like, come on. As you said, Joan Cusack is a treasure. She's hysterical. More please.
Yes.
All right, Oz, that leaves us with one huh. What is your huh for Popstar?
I kind of referenced it a little bit earlier, but if Lawrence is a bad farmer and he hates farming, how does he have such a successful marijuana operation going? Like every cut to we've seen of Lawrence is him literally like kicking dirt, or he's terrible, and yet right at the end, conveniently, he takes him over a hilltop, and there's like this vast like stretches beyond as far as the eye can see of marijuana, with like a full team of employees, and it's like, so is he a bad farmer or not? I don't know.
Or did he just hire the right people for that specific crop?
Yeah, either way, it's like, it was like very convenient. So if he's such a bad farmer, how does he have such a successful marijuana operation?
Because it lends to the joke that comes after it.
Yeah, so that we can smoke it. So that's my huh. What's your huh? I'm curious. Share with me.
My huh. Who did Taylor Swift murder? like
Paul Scheer.
I'm curious about what happened there. The only reason that Connor and the Style Boys got to perform the closing act at the Poppies is because they had to replace Taylor Swift because she murdered someone.
More than likely,
more to this story.
It's probably an ex-boyfriend. Has to be an ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, it's probably Jake Gyllenhaal.
Right. It's one of the Jonas boys.
Tom Hiddleston.
Probably, yeah, it could be anybody.
Maybe she just went on a spree and just murdered them all. I feel like that's probably a logical arc to her career anyways here.
Yeah.
She writes songs about him, she draws inspiration, she shares her feelings, and eventually she acts on it and murders them.
Yeah. she does all this, and then people reward her with money and cheering, and she's like, "No, this is heartbreak. You're supposed to be sad."
But they're rewarding me with money and cheering. So if I take the extra step, go the next mile, then it'll just be more reward and money and cheering.
Yeah, this would be my Mount Rushmore move.
by murdering Tom Hiddleston.
Right. You just got to make sure you murder the right Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, correct. Well, folks, that concludes Popstar Never Stop, Never Stopping in Oz. It also concludes Mockumentary Month.
Yes, it does.
This was a fun one. We had some fun entries in here. We kind of ended on, I don't know if I say clunker, but probably on the least of the movies we talked about. But
oh, yeah, for sure. Of the 4 we covered, this one was not only the most recent, but the weakest contribution. But I still feel it shines more than some of the other mockumentaries that are out there.
Yes.
I mean, we could have chased more Christopher Guest, but we didn't want to do a Christopher Guest month. We wanted to go a different route. So.
Yes.
But no, it was one I knew you hadn't seen, and I wanted to bring it to your plate. And you ate it, and it's not your favorite food, and that's okay.
And that's okay, but you don't know until you take a bite, right?
That's right. That's right.
So, Oz, if that concludes Mockumentary Month, what do we have in store for next month?
Well, it's August, and as we know, in August, schools start back up. Mm-hmm. And so, with schools starting back up, extracurriculars start back up. And so, we are going to kick off August. Oh, not kick off August. August will be a month full of sports comedies.
I am excited about this one.
I really am. We've both flip flopped a couple of movies. It is a 5-week month. For 5 Wednesdays. We drop on Wednesdays. That seems to be our go-to date. We drop on a Wednesday. There are 5 Wednesdays in August, so we will be dropping 5 episodes. All 5 episodes coming from different sports.
Yes.
We want to tackle, and not all, and actually only one of the 5 episodes comes from one of your, like, what you would consider like your major sports.
A major American sport.
To be honest, really looking at these 4, only one of the 4 movies actually covers the highest level of a major sport. Because
True.
We've got amateur. Well, we've got a lesser sport, but the pros, and we've got 2 amateur levels, and then one just fun. One more actual mockumentary.
Squeeze that
but
in.
we're kicking off Sports Comedies Month. It is your week, so what are you bringing to the table next week?
We're starting off. With Bull Durham, folks. A movie that I have not seen in its entirety in Oz.
And I have not seen it all. I'm aware vaguely what it's about. I know a couple of characters' names. I know the people in it, but I've never seen it.
Yeah. So
I know it's about baseball.
We're kicking things off. I mean, it's a Kevin Costner movie, so it's either a Western or a baseball movie.
Right. But it could have been golf. We could have watched Tin Cup.
Yeah, he doesn't have gills behind his ears in this one.
No, but it's also a Tim Robbins, Susan Sarandon movie, so you can expect a very liberal mindset.
Yeah. Oh, boy, is it a Susan Sarandon movie.
Yes. Having never seen it, I'm very curious to see how she stacks up compared to Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like, are we that level of Susan Sarandon? Because I like Susan Sarandon in Rocky Horror Picture Show. I like Susan Sarandon anyway.
Yes,
but I like Susan Sarandon in a Rocky Horror Picture Show as Janet.
I think you will like Susan Sarandon in Bull Durham.
Okay, fair enough. So, but yeah, we kick off August with Bull Durham. So that will be our first contribution of 5. We still need to talk about what we're doing for September.
Yeah,
we've got something down, but I don't think either of us are 100% sold on that quite yet, or at least the format of how we're going to approach it. And so, but we obviously will talk about that behind the scenes. So catch our other podcast called Behind the Scenes with Oz and Curtis.
Oz and Curtis After Dark.
Right. Secrets. So, but yeah, so we will be back with Bull Durham next week.
The Oz and Curtis mockumentary. It's the making of Let's Talk About Flicks with Oz and Curtis.
Right. So that would be fun though. As usual, you could catch us on all the social media channels: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Patreon, of course, we've mentioned that. YouTube will always be there, so you can see us in the flesh on your screen, not really physically in the flesh.
Unless you want. Depends what level of Patreon you go in at.
That's true. We can open up a 4th level.
Yeah.
where you get a personal podcast where we come to your home and talk about whatever movie you want to talk about.
We don't record. It's just the 2 of us for an hour and 15 minutes at your dining room table talking to each other.
And we'll just refer to you as the viewer. Yeah. So you go on about your day. You can go make yourself
we know what to do. We'll be good. Just make sure we have a power source and Wi-Fi. We'll be good.
Yeah, and if you're going to leave the room, just say pause, and we'll stop until you come back. So, want to give a shout out to our friends at the Chicago Indie Critics, organization we joined recently. It's another outlet for us, but so far it's been a lot of fun. They're very supportive, cool group of people. I did have a
nice community.
Had an online session with a handful of them the other night to talk about awards. Like, this is a legit organization where we're going to have an award show at the end of at the end of the season to recognize and pay tribute to those movies. So it's like you got your Golden Globes, you got your Oscars, you got your MTV Movie Awards, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, this is another one to where, like, we're part of a real organization here. This isn't just a bunch of buddies that are like, we're LARPing. No, this is real.
Well, as you've heard of the EGOT, right? Like, was it the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, the Tony?
Yep.
With this award show, it's going to be known as the KGOT with the Chicago Indie Critics.
The EGOT-C.
The EGOT.
We'll rearrange it. It'll be the GECOT. We'll move the G to the front, C in the middle. We're recipients of a GECOT.
The first ever GECOT award recipient.
But no, it was fun. Like, we were, we discussed, like, names for the award, and it was cool. It was a cool meeting. So it was fun to, to talk like industry, not necessarily like, what's your favorite movie? Well, that's my favorite too. It was like, it was fun. Like,
it's too mainstream now.
Right. It's a really cool group of people. I'm looking forward to expanding our relationships with them, and like, we've kind of joked before, who knows, there may be some ins and outs sometimes where we get some people in. That could be a cool month we do, is a contributor month where we line it up where we get different CIC members. We do a month of that.
Maybe they bring the movies.
They pick the movie, and the three of us get on a call, and that could be cool.
Yeah.
That'll be something for 2024, because we've got 2023.
we're all booked up, folks.
It is solid. There's no changing that. So
no.
But no, that could be cool. So, but anyway, to wrap up July and to wrap up Mockumentary Month, we do want to thank all of you guys for coming back and listening and viewing, or however you consume our content. We have a lot of fun making it, and we're glad you guys have a lot of fun paying attention to it. So drop us reviews or content or comments or however you want. We love to hear back from some of you guys, because it really does. It really does open the communication lanes, because you and I both, as we know, we're talkers, and so we love meeting new people. We love to just communicate, especially talk about things that we like and movies, etc. So
send a telegraph, passenger pigeon, smoke signals.
Send a candygram. I don't care.
Candygram for Mongo.
Candygram for Curtis. So with that, do you have anything you want to send off with?
No, that's good. We love hearing from people. Your feedback only makes us stronger and more powerful.
That's right. That's right. So we don't really have an Achilles heel, so you're not gonna push us over the edge of, like, we quit.
Except for our actual Achilles heel.
It's true. I don't even have one of those anymore. I've had my Achilles removed so that I have no weaknesses.
It's nothing there. It's just a sponge.
Right. I just happen to run like Forrest Gump with the leg when he's got the leg braces on. Very stiff-legged.
You're all heels in your sprints.
But hey, even in that position, he taught Elvis how to dance.
That's true.
All right. Well, listeners and viewers, thanks for coming back another week. We'll see you guys in August with Bull Durham to kick off Sports Comedies Month. And for Let's Talk About Flicks, I'm Oz.
I am Curtis.
And we will see you guys next week. Thanks.